This is the concierge, sir.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Concierge Confidential. I'm your host, Brian Ortega, and in today's episode, we are sort of counting down the best frozen or extra cold drinks on the Las Vegas Strip. So we just hit, I think, 114, maybe 115 over the weekend, and I thought it would be kind of a fun little episode to actually, kind of go over some of the fun little stands and cold spots where you can find like these really frozen or refreshing cocktails. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. I don't go to these places very often because I am not a frozen drinks type of person. But my brother likes to go to a couple of these places. My mom went to a couple of these places. I've tried a couple of these options. And it's just kind of fun because they're all basically stands. I think only maybe one or two are actual restaurants. So this is going to be very interesting just because it is sort of well known that you probably shouldn't be drinking like the slushy or extra frozen drinks while you're walking on the strip. But, rules are made to be broken. It's Vegas, baby. So we're going to be listing some of my favorites coming up next. Okay, so with it being so hot in Las Vegas, I think it's fun to sort of know where these options are. So let's get one out of the off the bat. Actually, before we get into that, I do have a little bit of Las Vegas news. There are a couple bars opening over this weekend, or this upcoming weekend, and one of them being the Vinyl Room, which is where the Foundation Room used to be at Mandalay Bay. They've redone the inside. It's now like a Japanese vinyl listening room. And I have a feeling a lot of these are going to be popping up around town because it's kind of funny that we're basically coming up with two Japanese-style listening rooms in Vegas. But this one's grand opening is on Saturday, and I'm very interested to see what the inside is going to look like, sort of how they modernize the space. I honestly do think that Skyfall is the better version of these two options, just because of how their bar is situated, where you can actually look out with a very big, giant glass wall looking out to the Las Vegas Strip, and it really has one of the best views. The Foundation Room, a little bit more closed off. It has kind of like a weird, like, catty corner looking out to the Las Vegas Strip, but we'll see how it goes. The other place that is opening is actually the second bar opened by the group that opened Nocturno. This is the Cobra Clutch, which is a Japanese sort of cassette and vinyl listening. It's not really a listening bar. It's more of like a cocktail room. But they do specialize in Japanese style cocktails. It's very like interesting, sort of like 1980s Miami Vice kind of vibes going on the inside. So I'm very excited to see what that is going to be. That's on Main Street, which is in the Arts District. So I'm excited to see kind of how that one turns out. I believe they're opening on Wednesday, and their grand opening is like later in the week sometime. So that's a little bit of Vegas bar news going on. So let's get into our cold drinks. So we have to sort of squash the elephant in the room. Fat Tuesdays is on this list, just for the fact that you can fill up your drink at multiple locations on Las Vegas Boulevard. Yes, you can get the extra shot of Everclear or UV. Honestly, if you are down to the bottom of a Fat Tuesday yardstick, you need to go take a nap. Just because that is not going to feel good in your stomach at the end of the day. Again, if you're sharing it, cool. But by the time it gets to the bottom, it's just all syrup and not good. It's sugary. Don't do it. But that is Fat Tuesdays. They are everywhere. I wouldn't say they're the best. They're just the most because they have so many locations up and down Las Vegas Boulevard. And like we tell everybody, keep your yardstick. Okay, so let's take a look at the next stop on our little list, and that is the Black Tap Shakes, which can be boozy, at Venetian. These are actually huge shakes, and I wouldn't say you can't walk around with these. Essentially, you have to actually have them at Black Tap, but they are so intricate and unique and fun. I'm not a huge fan of like the crazy shakes, but I do like a good milkshake. But they do specialize in doing like things with cookies, things with like M&Ms. Basically, the weirder the better. That's the way they like it. They don't do these like to order. They don't customize them is what I'm trying to say. They basically have like a set list of the types of milkshakes that you can get. So if you give me a second, I'll actually pull them up for you. But these are the Black Tap milkshakes, which this is actually located like right outside of the sportsbook, the Yahoo Sportsbook at the Venetian. Oh my God, it's like a terrible sportsbook. But we're going to take a look at their menu because we like to do that. I also didn't know they had one at Downtown Disney, which is very interesting. So with their shakes, they do have classic shakes, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry. They do also have peanut butter, Oreo cookies and cream, cinnamon toast crunch, fruity pebbles, and Cracker Jacks. Their crazy shakes are all over the place. They even have some themed ones for the city that they're in because they're in multiple cities. One of them being the Vegas Golden Night Shake, which is a vanilla frosted rim with black, white, and gold sprinkles, chocolate cake, Golden Knights, it's a Golden Knights puck, essentially. Whipped cream, sprinkles, and a cherry on top. They also have a couple other different options, but that is sort of the most unique one. They have a cannoli shake, the New Yorker, strawberry shortcake. They also do sundaes. The sundaes, very interesting. But this is a really fun place, like if you've been walking all day, and you kind of like get inside and then the air conditioning sort of hits you. This might be like a fun place to sit. They do have an outdoor seating option for this place that looks out to the Las Vegas Strip. It also has an outdoor patio where you can go outside maybe during the months when it's not 115 degrees. But for the most part, the inside is where you're going to want to be, especially during the hot summer months. So we'll hit another one that's actually inside of the Venetian as well, which actually has multiple locations. It has one inside the Venetian, one inside of Mandalay Bay, and there's also one at the Link Promenade, and that is the -5 Ice Bar. The -5 Ice Bar, we're not going to spend a lot of time on it just because it's a fun experience to have for about 30 minutes. Even when it's 110 degrees outside, you're going to go in, be in there, freeze your balls off, and then go back outside. It is fun just because all the glasses are made out of actual ice, and it is a very fun, like unique experience. If you do end up doing the one at the Link, that actually does allow people under the age of 21 to go into that bar, but it has to be, I believe, before 7 o'clock is, I think, the cutoff. Double check that on their website, but I do know that during the day, kids are allowed to go into the -5 Ice Bar to experience sort of like the -5 sort of experience, which is very interesting. So there is one close by there that I do want to talk about, which I think I was going to be like number one on my list. But another one, because we all love a good cold margarita. There are many margarita spots, and honestly, you can find one that's probably better than the one I'm going to list. But I think a cold margarita, any place on the Las Vegas Strip is going to do just fine. But Rosa Mexicano at Planet Hollywood is a fun little spot. They have an outdoor seating area, which is cool. It's really pretty on the inside. And they do offer different types of margaritas. They can do pitchers. They also do flights if you wanted to. But the Rosa Mexicano at Planet Hollywood sits right on Las Vegas Boulevard. You can't miss it. It's a big giant sign. It's a great place to go. I did also see on this list that Ghost Donkey has really good frozen margaritas if you wanted to try them. They also have regular margaritas, and they're also just as delicious. I wouldn't want to go into Ghost Donkey if it's super hot outside, just because I've been in there and in the evenings, and it gets very hot. So probably not wanting to hang out in that location. It's also funny. Sugar Factory does have a location on the corner of Harmon, and they have really fun drinks. Again, just note they're very, very, very sugary But they offer a really great view of the Las Vegas Strip. So if you are going to be going and having kind of a funky, fun cocktail, it's a pretty good option. Another place I do want to highlight. See, I don't like being outside when it's hot outside, but if I'm going to be outside, hopefully I'm by some type of water source. And the Wynn does have the aft bar, which is the outdoor portion of basically the Carousel Down bar. That used to be called the Carousel Up and Carousel Down. I think they're now called the Overlook Bar or the Overlook Lounge, and then the Parasol Bar. And then aft, which aft actually is the outside portion, which actually like pops out over the waterfall, the Lake of Dreams, where you can have like really fun light cocktails. They really specialize in spritz. That's really what they're known for, is like any spritz essentially. But really great cocktails there, and it feels very refreshing to be by like that, the Lake of Dreams, and sipping down those cocktails. But yeah, lots of spritz, lots of like mojitos, a lot of oh my goodness, what's the one? Like Bellinis and mimosas. That's kind of the vibes they're going with. They have small bites, which is quite nice. But that would be one location to go to have a cold drink and look out. I'm just trying to think like up and down the strip, like any other options. So like Bellagio has Lago, not really like an outdoor seating thing to do. They're not really big on like their crazy cocktails. If you go over to the Aria, there's really nothing. Park MGM. The Park MGM does have a place that is really specializes in spritz as well, which is located in their main lobby. I've actually never been inside myself. I just know that they are very much specialized in like Aperol spritz and all those type of cocktails. So as we continue our move down Las Vegas Boulevard, let's get to my brother's favorite restaurant. This is my brother's favorite stop when he comes to Las Vegas. It is a must. He always has to stop here. He is a huge fan of Caesar's Palace and everything that has to do with terrible parking options. I have to say, my middle brother, who comes to Vegas more than my older brother, my middle brother does not care that I live here, which is fine. He's here on vacation, and he's going to go where he wants to go and be where he wants to be. But I have to say, the hotels that he picks are always, one, the most expensive to park at, two, the most difficult to get into, and three, in the most inconvenient places for me as a Las Vegas local. If you're wondering, what are those places? Anything that is in between Flamingo, which is where Caesar's Palace is, so Flamingo and Las Vegas Boulevard, all the way to basically the Venetian. You can include the Venetian if you want to. Anything that is in those hotels, so like you're talking Harrah's, Link, Flamingo, the Cromwell, Caesar's Palace, the Venetian itself, although there's some ways to get around that. Those are some of the hardest places to get to as a Las Vegas local. Just because all those roads are very small. They're typically like 2 or 3, 2-lane roads. I guess 4 if you want to, put it that way. But those places are terrible for parking. So, with that all being said, my brother's favorite place to get a cool, cold cocktail, and that is I didn't even know this was its name, the Mojito Hut in front of Caesar's Palace. So this is actually not the bar, which I believe is owned by Purple Zebra, but that's like the full bar. And then right next to it, there's like a little stand, basically like in a square box, and that is the Mojito Hut, where they specialize in, you guessed it, mojitos. My brother actually loves this place. He swears by it. They'll drink 2 or 3 of those before they even walk away from the stand. They do offer like pretty large cups. I think it's like 24 ounces, maybe like a little bit more. And they mix it in front of you, and my brother has a ball of a time. He loves it. So typically what you do is you'll get up to the stand, you order like a standard mojito, maybe one with strawberries. They have different flavors. You get it. You'll sit right there on the outside of the bar area, and then life is good. My brother loves to drink there. I've had one mojito there. They're good, but my brother swears by them. He loves this spot. So good for him. So as we kind of wrap it up, and we'll have more stuff on the other side, maybe not just these listings, but we have, to me, one of the most unique things that we have in town, and my mom got it, and then I had to try it, and that is the frozen Baileys over at O'Shea's inside of the Link Hotel. So for those of you that have never been to O'Shea's has been there since it was the Imperial Palace, and they went to all these like different iterations. And it's basically a casino inside of a casino. And they basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have like 6 table games, 2 roulette wheels, and 1 craps table, which is not a lot. And it basically feels like you're in a frat house that grew up and has, a big, giant, beautiful bar. And they also have drink specials. But one of their specialties is this frozen Baileys that you can get and then walk around with if you want. It really is frozen. And my mom swears by it. She loves the frozen Baileys at O'Shea's. I thought it was good, but my mom loved it. So that is inside of O'Shea's. So these drinks are all basically what I would recommend getting. I have trouble with like really cold drinks in the summer. I'm not like a big like daytime summer drinker, which is tough for me because I want to be able to participate. But these options are, I'm sort of like, I'm one of those drinkers that likes to be in a dark, seedy, like a dark cocktail room with a whiskey, and I'm good. None of these are whiskey drinks. None of them at all. So with that being said, let's move over to downtown. So downtown has a lot more of these options just because downtown is essentially walking up and down like a 20-minute walk to walk from one end of Fremont to the other. One of them being the Carousel Bar, which the Carousel Bar is outside of the plaza. I don't know if I'd want to sit outside that entire time, but if you needed to sit outside and you wanted to soak in some rays, this place is a fantastic option. It's just outside of the plaza. They make really fun, light drinks, so I would highly recommend them. One of the places that I went during a sort of like a content thing that I was making was at Circa, and I had the Barbie drink, which they had Barbie drinks at like 4 or 5 different outlets that they were all different. And I actually tried all of them. Make sure you check that out on conciergeconfidential_LV if you want to see where that video was. It's one of like the middle to beginning videos I did for Concierge Confidential, and it was super fun. It was when they turned Circa into Barbie's Dream Hotel, and they had every single outlet had a different cocktail drink, really based on like where they were. And one of them was a pink slushy drink outside of Circa. Why do I say go to the ones at Circa? Because the girls are very cute for the ones who make the drinks over at Circa. But honestly, if you go over to the Golden Gate, the D, all the ladies are going to look the same. So honestly, it's up to you. I do know that they try to have a good time on Fremont Street. So almost every single, does every single hotel have one? So the Golden Gate has like an outdoor bar area. Circa, Golden Nugget, I don't know if they do. That's an interesting one. Binion's does not, but no, they do. They have a bar right on the corner of I believe it's Convention Center Drive and Las Vegas Boulevard, or Convention Center. And then if you keep going down, you have the Four Queens, which they do have a bar, but it's just inside of the hotel. The D has one. And then once we get down to the end. That is where Hennessy's Tavern is located, which is inside, I believe, of... Oh my goodness. Is it the Fremont Hotel? I'm not sure. Not the Four Queens. That's a very good question. I think there actually might be like a standalone, which is very interesting. So I'd have to go back and remember because I haven't been down to that end of Fremont very often. If you walk down there, what do they have there? They have corduroy. Not really a frozen drink bar. They do have, if you do want to have something refreshing and unique, the White Whale, which is located on Las Vegas Boulevard, kind of like right next to the Hacienda Cowboy. You're gonna see like a picture of a whale essentially, and they have a thing inside where they have like the regular bar, they have the captain's quarters, and they can do like a tiki drink, which is really popular when it's really hot outside. So yeah, let's see. So I should mention this. You can walk with your frozen drink up and down Fremont Street as long as it's in a plastic cup. They do not allow glass because that would be very dangerous, and dangerous things happen on Fremont Street. Yeah, I think we've gotten our comprehensive list of frozen drinks. The ones I would highly recommend trying is the Frozen Baileys at the Link, the Mojito Hut at Caesar's Palace, and definitely try Black Tap and all of their shakes that they have. They are really good. I've actually had like a strawberry shake there. You can always spike it with some, any cocktail that you please or any spirit that you please. So that would be highly recommended for those of you wanting to get a little bit of a buzz with your ice cream. And then before we get out of here, I did get a question on Concierge Confidential's Instagram, and I do really appreciate it when you guys actually message us, just because I love answering questions. And this one is from Hook, and I believe this one's from Hook and Arrow. Thanks for following, man. He does some hunting content, so that's actually really, really cool. Maybe check him out if you're into hunting stuff. He does obviously show that he is hunting, so use your brains and know that when you go to that site, he's going to show you some really cool hunts. My cousin actually hunts quite a bit, and if you're interested, his channel, which is on YouTube. This is a free ad for my cousin. Hopefully you guys go out there and follow him on his YouTube page, is Southern Arizona Adventures, which he does like ATV driving videos. He also does like some hunting stuff, and they also do like little trips on their side-by-sides and anything that has to do with Southern Arizona. So give him a follow. He does more like that long-form content. Which is great. Like, people really love, hunting and outdoorsy content. Obviously, for those of you who don't like hunting, may not be your cup of tea, but they tend to do very well. So that's good. But the question was, coming to Las Vegas, showing that people who hunt are also cultured, because this gentleman would actually like to know how he can get a reservation at Delilah, and hopefully he's okay with me sharing this. And this is for after he goes to see the Wizard of Oz. So that's actually a great idea, because walking from the Wizard of Oz through the Wynn, you will actually run into Delilah, because they sort of direct you inside on that side of the street, and you'll hit it. The thing is, so he's going on like a Thursday, and he's trying to get reservations for 2 people at 10 o'clock, which if you're not able to, don't fret, because if it is only 2 people, usually about 10 o'clock is when they stop serving the regular menu, and they only start serving like the small bites menu and the snacks. So you could still get, the chicken tenders, the cheeseburger, I believe. You can get like the pigs in a blanket, French fries. I love the French fries. But you could do that and some small drinks. Not a problem. When you walk in, and this happens, they're going to try to scare you. So I want everybody to know, when you go into one of these restaurants that are like super in demand, it's Delilah, Carbone Riviera, Carbone, Gymkhana. When you walk into these places, it is hard if there's like a door. And when there's a door, it's like kind of like one of those things. But when you walk up to like the ropes at Delilah, there's ropes. There's going to be a hostess, and there's going to be a security guard. The security guard will look very scary. Completely understand. You're going to walk through. And then, like, sort of slowly, you'll just say, I'm going to the bar to have a drink. Hopefully they're cool with that. If the rope is up, then the rope is up, and that's just the way that life works. If you give them $20 and say, hey, I'm just going to the bar to have a drink, see what, is there anything you can do? Probably let you in. That's probably what he can do. Sometimes there's a line. Being by myself, I typically do skip lines. Not because I'm cool or anything, just because I blow past the line as I walk in. I'm just saying, I'm going to the bar. And you just kind of have like this way about you, like you've been there before. I would say one of the best things I could tell people about Vegas is just act like you've been here a million times. You may have never been inside of a restaurant. You'll figure it out when you get in there. There's a hallway, probably a bar, and then the restaurant itself. There are some places, though, like Sartiano's, which is at the Wynn. And it's actually like connected to Zero Bond. And I wouldn't say they're actually connected, but like they are. They share the same entrance. And then you go left to go to the restaurant, you go right to go to the lounge, which it does have like a key card that you have to actually scan to get through. Very, very interesting. But you walk in and there's the bar and lounge area, which is basically a corner. And then you get to go into the restaurant, which is like all the way in the back. And you don't even see anything. So the bar and lounge area, little lame at Sartiano's, but I believe that's by design. But anyways, so the question was, Delilah, 10 p.m. on a Thursday, for drinks and snacks after Wizard of Oz. I think it's a fantastic idea. They do sometimes close the bar on the top floor, the bubble bar, as it's become known. Just go in. The other question was, can you see the performances from up there? You can. It does depend on where you sit upstairs. If you are sitting in a lounge chair, because they do have like sort of lounge seating, so there's chairs that are lower to the ground, sort of like a tea or cocktail table. You cannot see the performances from there. Like, you really can't. Absolutely not. But if you are sitting at the bar tops, or the bar top, excuse me, you are able to see the performances. If you are sitting on the very far end, so basically right when you walk into Delilah, you can see the singer and the stage. If you're sitting right on the corner closest to the stairs that go down, you can see this. You can see the stage. If you're sitting sort of in between those seats, it's really depending on like who's in front of you or to the side of you, I guess. And you have to look to the side, basically. So yes, you can see it from up there. Depends on how much you want to see, but you can definitely hear the artist because they do obviously pump the music through the speakers that is coming from the stage. You can always try going down to the second floor or the bottom floor of Delilah and trying to get a seat. Sometimes the seats will say reserved. You can say, hey, like I'm just one guest or I'm two guests. I'm able to sit here. What's the worst they can do? They could say no, obviously. So yeah, that was a very good question. Yeah, I liked this question here, and I know that you're really you're trying a lot to like make reservations for this restaurant. Sometimes calling's always a good way to do it, and then emailing's good too. Or be just extremely rich because that stuff happens too. It is actually mind-boggling. So like where I work at, the amount of reservations that we're able to make, a lot of it has to do with a lot of our managers having relationships with people who work at these restaurants. And I think that's actually what you get when you get to like sort of like the top tier of hospitality is that old Vegas is still around. Like he's still like, I know a guy to get you in. And I know in other parts of the world that's also a thing. It's not exclusive here, but it feels more important when it's here. You know what I mean? Because it's Vegas. So yeah, keep that in mind. So I think we did it. We did our episode. Boom. Got frozen drinks and how to get into Delilah. $20 goes very far. Anyways, really appreciate you guys listening to the episode. Make sure to check us out on all of our socials. Country's Confidential _LV on Instagram, at Keys to Vegas on TikTok. Also, check out my main account, Brian_Ortega26. If you like movie content, I post on there, quite a bit, what's going on in the world. I will let you know how those bars are, Cobra Clutch and the Vinyl Room, and see if they're worth checking out. So if you do end up in town and you do see me, because I'll probably be out there, come up and say hello. But remember, keep it confidential.